This is something that I always ask the athletes, but I want to ask you as well, because as somebody who was a former high school teacher and former coach, I've seen so many kids not put enough thought into their college decision and make a bad choice. Okay. So can you please tell the people why you chose to attend Jackson State University?
Yeah, my story for Jackson State was a little probably much like others, growing up in Jackson, being, in the city all my life, man. My mom, my dad, my brother, cousin, everyone went to Jackson State, several cousins. As I grew up in the city, Jackson being a basketball city, you get a chance to go to some basketball games. And of course, we know about Jackson State football. You know what I mean? You see that and it's a part of your DNA being in the city of Jackson. People don't understand why we go so hard for our JSU Tigers. It's a part of who we are. As I got a lot older, started being a little bit more, I was getting better in basketball. I was a 3-sport, football, baseball, basketball, but basketball was the love, and then when I went to high school, you mentioned my 2 high schools. I started off at Murrah. I wound up moving with my pops. My junior year, I transferred to Madison Central, started playing ball there. And I was trying my best. I wanted to go to Jackson State. I wanted to play basketball for Jackson State. At the time, Coach Andy Stoglin was the head basketball coach. He wasn't really showing me no love. I had a really good senior season at Madison Central, but the problem with leaving the city is I went from a basketball powerhouse to a football powerhouse. And then we went from, playing in the state tournament or potential to get to, far in at Murrah to going to a school where we were 15-0 my senior year, won state in 99 and 2000, my senior year. So when I left high school, my father and I went to Coach Stoglin's office, gave him our highlight tape, gave him my film. I showed him a film of my game versus Meridian High School. I had like 26, 30 points, something like that. Okay. And it just so happened that one of the players that Coach Stoglin was recruiting, a gentleman by the name, I think it's Derek Houston, I think it was his name, something like that, 6'6", super physical, athletic kid, man, that wound up committing to Meridian Community College.
Okay.
And I'm sitting there showing him my film, man, and he was checking out this dude, and I'm like, come on, bro. I was eating his ass up, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, show some love. But I'm 6'3". I was what you considered a tweener, you know what I mean? And you playing small forward. My dad always told me he felt like I should have went to the point guard position because of the way I approached the game cerebrally, but I didn't invest in the time and energy and getting my handles better. I was more of a shooter/defender. So I wound up going to Holmes Community College. I took the scholarship opportunity to go play for Coach Todd Kimball up in Goodman. Played 2 seasons up there, won state in 2002, first state championship in 50 years, man. And myself and a couple of other city players, that was on that team, the likes of Jarrell Jones from Callaway, Sandrell Spann from Provine. You had BJ Townsend, who is actually the head basketball coach at Canton High School now.
That's Canton right there. I know. I grew up hooping with BJ in the backyard.
Oh, see that was my teammate. So we had and we had a really good squad, man. That we came together like 11 freshmen, and then we wound up winning state. And afterwards, I got married in college, man. I was 19 when I got married. I got married young. Okay. And I had to put that out there. I ain't answering no more questions about that. I'm moving on from that. Anyway, so here's what happened. I brought that up for a reason because shout out to all the student athletes that's getting NIL deals now. I was a broke college kid, man. My dad gave me $40 a month, $40 a week going up to Goodman, and I had to basically use it for gas. I felt like playing college ball was a job that I wasn't getting paid for.
Right.
And, as you start getting further and further into the game, you realize either it's going to be NBA or nothing. And I wasn't even close to trajecting to be on the NBA level. Right. I would have been more like a semi-pro if I would have really just took it that far. But keep in mind, 9/11 happened in 2001. So I wasn't there leaving the States. So I was like, basketball for me was like, I'm looking at this and I'm like, you know what? Maybe I could try to go to Jackson State. it was I got an opportunity to go to Mississippi College. I was supposed to go to Mississippi College. 2 weeks before the semester started, I went to Coach Dale Lofton and just said, Coach, I'm done with basketball. I retired. I gave the game up. I fell out of love with the game, and I just wanted to start my family and start working, man. And then what wound up happening was I sat out a year. I went to work, and after working a year, I was ready. I went to Jackson State as a student. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people probably didn't know me at Jackson State because I was a married commuter. I wasn't living on campus. I wasn't going to the parties. I wasn't playing any sports. It's for the first time in my life since I was probably middle school, man, that I was actually just a student. So it's a little different for me. But the objective was the objective. And that's how I got to JSU. JSU was always in my heart to do it. And once you become a student at JSU, your childhood married to your I guess you could say your education now. Now I'm a student, but I grew up in this, and then I just fell in love with it all over again because now I'm seeing it from a more intimate place, and it meant more. I bought the hats. I was in the bookstore buying all the hats, all the shirts, and I've been that way ever since, man. Just fell in love with Jack State all over again, and it was what it was, man, ever since then.
Okay.
I've been locked in.